everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alyssa. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today we will be setting up basically the second half of June 2022, my personal real life budget and how I'll be allocating my income for the month. We will just jump right into things. If you like budgeting content, hit subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. It really does help out my YouTube channel. So the paycheck date we have is 6/15/2022. And if you aren't familiar, if you haven't watched my videos before, you know that I use the Budget by Paycheck Workbook by the Budget Mom. I love this method and I will probably live by it until the day that I die. Her website is always linked below if you're interested in checking it out. But my income for the month here is going to be basically just my work income, which is $16.51. And then I did receive some commission for the month, and I want to separate these two out because it's not something I get every month, right? Like I only get it if basically when our clients pay, then I get the commission. My regular paycheck, which is based on my base salary, is the $16.51. If you're looking at my crazy skin tones, I just got back from vacation about a week ago from Hawaii, and yes, I did wear my Apple Watch, and yes, I did get very tan, especially on my hands. Looks like I have a botched self-tanner on my hands, that's for sure, and then I got a little sunburnt here. So don't mind me and my crazy skin tones here, but mind my commission, which was $663. And then the other income I have this month, so my birthday was about 10 days ago. It was June 10th. So I did get some birthday money and I got it via Venmo. So I'm just going to basically transfer that into my account and likely just put it towards my emergency fund, building it back up again. My total income, if we calculate this for the second half of June, so $16.51 plus $663 plus $500 equals $2,814. So that's really what we have to work with. Now, this is where it's going to get a little bit kind of tricky. We're changing things up a bit. So now that I am paying about $400 more in rent, that I live by myself, I've decided to separate how I pay my rent. So I'm basically going to save half of the middle of the month's paycheck, and then I'll take half of the first of the month's paycheck and apply it towards my rent. That way it gives me a little bit more flexibility with my money between the weeks and not have basically all of my first paycheck of every month go just towards rent. It'll be able to be used towards sinking funds or maybe some debt or more towards like fun and entertainment. I hope it will just give me a little bit more flexibility to basically reach more financial goals and not have to go into more debt when I only have like, $150 left over after I pay my rent, which is $14.85 if you're curious. So I have my rent, which we're actually going to title rent number 1. And if you know, I recently went through a breakup with my, I guess now ex-boyfriend. We used to live together, and that's why my rent sort of became higher, is I had to find a place on my own. And we had agreed that I would pay June and July rent just to make sure he was set up for success financially there. So I am going to save for half of that rent as well. So we'll write rent number 2, and it's going to be half of that. And this is going to be the old rent. So we'll write new and old just so I know. And it says no right there, weird. But so my rent for my 1 bedroom that I live in by myself is a $14.85. So dividing that by 2 gives us, we're going to say $743 is what we need to save. And I just have a separate checking account within my bank that I'll transfer that money into. And then my rent for basically place number 2, my old place, and so July will be the last one. So what I'm saving for here will probably only show up on this one, and then when I set up July's first budget. But that rent was like my portion was about $1,100. However, he owes me for Xfinity, which is about $75. It's still in my name, still at the old apartment. It will hopefully be transferred out of my name here soon. It's just going to be a process. So right now I am paying for it, and basically he's going to pay me back. So I'm taking it out of rent. And then so that leaves us with $1,025 that I will owe him. We're going to divide that by 2. It leaves us with $513 for the second half of the rent. So I'll be taking this amount total and putting it into that separate sort of checking account. Okay, so we've got got the big bills out of the way, and now we need to grab basically the bare bones budget worksheet that I use. I do need to redo this soon because it's pretty inaccurate all the way down the line. Xfinity for me is actually now like $49 for my new place. I don't know how it happened, but hey, I'll take it. So we need to write out all of the bills that will be due, and first things first is gonna be Spotify. So we have Spotify, the 16th it's due, and it's $10. Then we actually have 24-hour fitness due on the 17th, which is my gym membership, and that is $33. And then we have Xfinity. Now here we have to go Xfinity 1 and Xfinity 2. So we're gonna say new Xfinity and Xfinity old, which is $75. And then Xfinity new is $49, but they are due on different dates. So if I go actually back to the calendar we set up at the beginning of the month, which is always so helpful to do. We've got Xfinity on the 20th, which is the old one, and the new Xfinity, which is on the 25th. So new is on the 25th and old is on the 20th. It's a little out of order, but that's okay. Okay, so continuing down the bare bones budget, so we've got Spotify, we've got Xfinity, we've got electricity I pay every other month. I will figure out another situation like the rent number 1 and 2 to save for electricity, but we'll start that in July. My brain is just so fried with all of these crazy logistic finances, but it'll all work out the way it's supposed to work out. So then we have Hulu. So Hulu is $13 a month and due on the 25th. And then some other things that don't really have a date is I have my therapy appointments and then Acorns, which is the investment portfolio. So my therapy, I don't remember the day, but it is $25. And then Acorns, we're on pause right now with them just so I can figure out kind of the right mesh of strategy for when bills are paying, just sort of getting in the new groove of what my budget looks like as a single 25-year-old woman, just pretty much on her own, doing the thing. Let's add up all of this to see how much our bills are total for the second half of June. So $743 plus $513 plus 10 plus 33 plus 49 plus 75 plus 13 plus 25, so $1,461. So then we have to subtract that by the $2,814. 2,814 gives us 1,353. So bring $1,353 down. Now for variable expenses, I will write all of these out and then we'll sort of go through. For grocery, I only have about 10 days left in June, just of how my vacation fell. I came back kind of in the middle of the pay period. For groceries, I'm gonna budget a little bit more graciously versus last 2 weeks. I budgeted $15, which I don't know why I did that. So I am gonna do $50 for these next 10 days, and I have so much food in my apartment that that's pretty achievable for me. Eating out, I'm gonna match that at $50. I do wanna like take myself out maybe on like a date, try a new restaurant. I'm trying to like put myself out there a little bit to not be a hermit crab in my apartment. Gas and car should only be about $40. I now commute less than a 5-minute drive to work. I used to commute about 30 minutes where I used to live. So I don't anticipate honestly even filling up my tank that much money. And if I really want to, I could only put in like a half a tank and it would be about half of this, so about $20. Fun and entertainment. I do have a Sounders game to go to. I actually have two, I believe. I've got one on the 25th and then one on the 29th. And then I also potentially want to, because it's gonna be hot this upcoming weekend in Seattle. I mean like high 80s, low 80s. That's hot in Seattle. I may want to go out and like rent a paddleboard. That seems super fun to me. And it's something I wanted to do on my vacation, but I just didn't get around to it and I didn't want to do it in the ocean. So I'm gonna budget $75 for fun and entertainment. It's $25 for the paddleboard, and then hopefully I can really stick to a low kind of like drinking budget at the Sounders game. I've got some tips and tricks if you're ever curious. ideas on how I can save on drinks at the game. And then investments, like I said earlier, we're pausing those. Holiday is nothing right now. Travel, also nothing. I don't have anything upcoming. Self-care, I would love to go get a pedicure. I meant to get one before my vacation and life happened. It just got away from me. And then I'm glad I didn't because we were in a lot of sandy places on the beach. I would love to go treat myself to a pedicure, and maybe instead of the paddle board, I'll like do the pedicure, maybe pedicure, and then go paddle boarding later. Who knows? I'll figure it out. That's what I'm gonna do there. Miscellaneous, I'm gonna budget $50. There's a couple other things I need to get for the apartment. Pets for my Miss Lila, my kitty cat, $15 for any food that I need to get her. Maybe I'll get her some more TREATS, if you know what I mean, because she's right here next to me. So we're gonna add up all of the variable expenses. We've got 50 plus 50 plus 40 plus 75 plus 40 plus 50 plus 15 equals $320 in variable expenses for the month, which is honestly not that bad if you consider everything. Okay, and then sinking funds, I need to save for my emergency fund. I need to save that $500 again. And before we get too far along, so we've got to subtract then this $320 from the $1,353 over here. So 1,353 minus 320 equals $1,033. And then emergency funds, so $1,033 minus 500 equals $533. Now for debt, there's a couple of things I do have to pay off. So I have my Discover credit card and my Alaska Airlines credit card. So there's a little bit of low-hanging fruit, I guess you could say, left over from just things I've got to pay off. And when I pay all of these off, I will be completely credit card debt free going into the second half of 2022, where I can really start to tackle my student loans. And honestly, I'm so excited to just start breaking that down and getting things out of the way. So Discover, I have $155 left to pay, and then my Alaska card is $294 left to pay. So if we total that up, 155 plus 294 equals $449 minus the 500 gives us $51. So what I'm gonna do with the extra savings, I'm actually gonna put it towards a sinking fund for my car insurance that is due actually, I believe in July, or it could be August now because of how sort of the structure went. So I'm gonna put all $51 towards the car insurance because it's something I have to pay and I don't want to have to pay for it on a credit card. That seems just ridiculous. So I'm gonna put the $51 towards the car insurance, and if there's any extra that I don't use in a specific category or is less than I'm anticipating, I hope I can put more towards the car insurance this month. That would just be so superb for me. That is everything for June, the second half of June, I should say. I hope this was entertaining and I hope it's helpful as well. I do really enjoy creating these videos, and I really do feel like it holds me accountable to stick to my budget because I don't want to disappoint anybody, especially myself. And I feel like May and beginning of June I kind of did that. So I'm hoping I can get back on track and you guys will be right along for this journey. Hit the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and please let me know if you guys have any fun summer plans. I'm always looking for ideas. If you are a single woman, please also give me advice on things you like to do for yourself, or if you go, take yourself out on a date, like where do you go? I would really love any tips and tricks. That would be so much fun for me. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have the most beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.